Hello friends, hi from Gopi. Uh, Now it is almost midnight of August 14th here in Atlanta, and it's already August 15th. The day has broke, and the Prime Minister's speech at Red Fort also has been delivered. So we also were pondering over the discussion over the flag and the tricolor and the theme. So it is what I think. Let's call this episode, this session as flag and flag pole as it is. So my focus is on the flag pole. Jenda to patu jenda karra. There will be a lot of discussions about the flag, tricolor, history of the national flag of India, its history of its evolve from 1905 through various stages, about what are the components and the colors and the presence of Vande Mataram in 1905 and later on, then it giving way to the Cherkah, and then the final form in 1947-50, and then what we continue to have from then until here. And there will be a lot of discussions about the colors and themes and the flag and again Vande Mataram and much. In my view, the flag is representative of the twin themes of diversity and unity. So, Indian flag manifests many colors and it has its own proportions. So, essentially, it's not unicolored, not a monotonous the flag. So, the different colors in metaphorical way, while some may see as representing large groups and communities and associations, essentially the multicolor nature is what I am looking at, I am sharing about. So that multicolor represents diversity, and putting them together represents unity. Of course, many nations' flags have different colors, and all those colors and patterns and everything are born. So diversity and unity is a common aspiration for all the nations. When all think alike, no one thinks much, it is said. And it is said, if you and me think alike, what's the need for two copies? So everybody exalts that differences as in being unique. It's about celebrating the differences and the uniqueness, and at the same time guarding against discrimination. So it's more about samata bhav rather than samabhav. So no two things in the world are equal, no two individuals in the world are equal, ever. So there is no equality in nature, but equanimity, that is possible, that is a human aspiration. So for that, the differentiation and the differences must be acknowledged and appreciated, and the unity and togetherness is to be celebrated. So the flag, in my view, is about all of these things. My focus and our focus, let's try to give energy to another theme, that's the flagpole. So jenda karra dani sambandhinchi. So what does the flagpole do? It keeps the flag higher and allows it to flutter and flowy, be like that, and it keeps that at a particular high plane where we look up to it, chin high and all, while pole itself is connected to the ground. So it's more like history and heritage. So when the flag, the representative of mass of people with with many differences and diversity and the uniqueness all together, yet all these people are bound together by their history and heritage as the togetherness. Otherwise, like a kati patang, uh, like a kite which is whose uh, flying thread is cut, it becomes drifted. It has no anchoring. It is just passing away, and it can hit any rock. It can fall down on any of the planes and surfaces. The kite can fly high when there is that anchoring thread, even when we cannot see it. But in the case of flag, a flag can stay and then manage through the nature, the winds and everything. It can be furling, unfurling, and it can be wavy, so long as the flag pole is strong, firm, and is holding both ends together. So people of a nation can exalt in their togetherness and in their diversity, in their efforts, wins, and learning from losses, only when they are all rooted in the history and heritage. So it's nothing, not as much new, so to say. So forget history and be condemned to repeat the same mistakes. That's too much of a quotation and adage. If anyone is applying for a job, for example, in any firm, there will be a checking of the history of the person, of the studies, cross-checking, verification, and then there will be credentials taking. So the history taking, checking the documents and certificates about the schooling, college, and all the work experiences, that's more like history. And credentials is like heritage, reputation, trustworthy, and the emotive components and those things. So in every day around us, it's there in job applications or even school, college, and institution admissions. And if you look at the medical history, someone comes with a fever, it's called history, medical history, or history of the complaint. So people ask what happened, how it happened, things like that. And if it is not too clear immediately, one goes into family history, personal history, genetic basis, and testing. So sometimes the history is also cross-checked in medical. The person's complaint and the history may not be resonating well with the complaint, the fever, and the things. In which case, the doctors sometimes cross-check the history or recheck the history. Something may be forgotten, something may be overlooked, something may be fabricated, something may be mentioned in a higher proportion than is warranted. So same thing with the job applications and the CV and so many things. So similarly, a nation's history is also seen when someone is sending their children, their family member for a job outside, for a business opportunity outside to any other nation. They will look at antecedents of history and heritage of that nation. Sometime back there were attacks on Indians in Australia, and many parents in Australia and in India were worried about sending their children to Australia at that time. There was so much of again rebuilding of the relations. So if someone is going into an African nation from India, people will look at what is Africa and where is this nation within Africa and what is the history. And then they'll decide whether to send, whether to go, whether to send or not. So the country's history, even for setting up a branches in another nation, if there is a civil war going on or a history of strong civil war precipitated often repeatedly, many businesses will, even if there is a profit, even if there is a good invitation from the government, otherwise, will think many times before going to that nation. My point is that the history and heritage make a strong case for certain measures. And the whole world, in a way, is looking at Bharat and learning from Bharat and dealing with India, in simple words. Whereas people in India, majority, a significant proportion of people in India or from India anywhere are looking at getting through the day, getting to the next day, getting to the next meal kind of thing. So, or if there is a history from education, schooling, or otherwise literature, awarded literature kind of thing, it is creating a scenario of apologetic nature. And one knows so much about some of the sultans, but one hardly knows about Chola, so many regimes and kingdoms. So most of the heritage segment of India can be surmised as ruins. So what respect will one gain by looking at ruins Either it has got nothing, or it has got nothing worthwhile that the generations or present generation is looking to preserve. So the approach has to change. Why should the approach has to change, if at all? Why should the ruins be invested in studying the time period, carbon dating, and the regimes and the administration points and the education systems, engineering, all those things of that time, how they are reflected through that? So we like Indiana Jones because he's an explorer. We like so many of those adventures into history, travels, and everything. But they're all heroes, and all those heroes belong to a parent exploring everything to the western side. Even the cowboy is a hero, and the farmer, by definition, raises sympathy. That's been the presentation. So, coming to the history and heritage, what's the purpose of what's a day-to-day purpose of knowing about history and heritage? There is no exam for anybody now. There are no marks awarded. There is apparently no immediate patting coming out by knowing about some of those issues. The point is that history and heritage add to watering the roots and develop two facets: pride and confidence. Just like the flag we mentioned, that manifests differences, uniqueness, and togetherness, the flagpole is about history and heritage, which give pride and confidence. Pride is because we look at the heroes and why those heroes are heroes, what they have done, what's the result. Not always win, sometimes even the loss, but the effort at even that thing inspires us. So, and the impact and the result. So that's the root cause of any of us looking into history and heritage. So Macaulay, if we have to look at one person who mentioned about how can the British get control over the Indian region, subcontinent region and around, he mentioned about destroying the three hero systems that we had. The systems which exalt the heroism or heroic. It's not about men or women, it's about heroic. So the teachers and the family structure, mothers, and the Purana Itihasa, whichever represent that heroic. So once we cut that off and bring new education system with anything other than this, the whole generation, whole people in few generations will be brown, but think like they have to appease and please the masters. So even while the British have left on August 15th, 1947, the colonial mindset still is continuing in a big way. Like in the Telugu session we did, at least let's ask the black blazers of the lawyers of India must be taken off. Let them shift to any light color blazer. So why should in summers, hot monsoon times, Indian lawyers should wear black color suits and blazers? They'll feel uncomfortable, and if they're irritated, how can they fight cases in a better time? So the pride and confidence. So we can study Macaulay, not hate him as much, but learn from the Macaulay side and reverse that and improvise that. So history and heritage give us those tools. So the pride is about something that we had gains, we had pains, we must learn from the pains and count the gains. Confidence is about try and then check and try, TCT. We'll talk about the confidence and the TCT formula in a separate time, but flagpole is the one which gives a metaphorical representation of our effort to we all studying our history and heritage. Let's look at flags. Let's also look at flagpole. My point for today is about we also must look at flagpole as a representative, as a demanding thing for history and heritage. Thanks all. I appreciate all for watching this small video, and we'll keep continuing. See you all again. Bye.